Making power by day, making friends at night. Built different, Tucker speed. Hell yeah, brother.
What's up, guys? Another episode of the Built Different podcast. Welcome. This is officially the first episode with a name, second episode. So tonight we are joined by my main man, Jason Owens, and joining us for the first time, my good buddy, part of our crew, James Stitzer.
Sticky.
Sticky. Or for all you Instagrams, King of Utah. So welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Should be fun. We're just going to keep it light tonight. We don't have much to talk about, so we're going to talk about you.
Awesome.
Hopefully you don't feel too weird about it.
Already.
So, this is episode 2. We're just still getting our feet wet with the podcast. We are still going to try and do a listener question of the episode. So we are taking questions now. No, we're not, because we don't even have an email to send it to yet. So hold that thought. But it's coming in another episode. Stitz.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Is this your first ever podcast?
It is. Actually. Hard to believe.
I know, with like
no,
the fame that you have. Yeah. I mean, you're more popular on Instagram than we are.
Really?
I think so. Huh? Way more friends. So, yeah. What do you guys want to talk about tonight? Dale wants to talk about nothing. I guess let's just start with you, James. Right. Tell me. I'm interested to know how you got into motorcycling. How you got into the Harley world.
Wow. So my first Harley I bought in 2012 or 13. I had just always wanted one. I grew up riding dirt bikes, and it just everything kind of lined up, and I got that one, and still have it. Half of it's here on the shelf.
Yeah, I've been holding parts of it for a couple years now.
Yeah. Still owe you that steak dinner.
I got one in the bank.
I never said which Valentine's Day, but there's a few have come and gone.
So yeah, that was your Dyna.
Mm-hmm.
And you got your Road King.
Yes. And I have an FXR and had another Dyna that I just sold to a good buddy.
Did you get rid of the Daytona?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, like once I got my Road King back on the road, I didn't ride it one time in months. And
I mean, you got a screaming deal on that thing.
Oh, yeah.
Would you pay $1,000 for that?
$1,000.
Man.
Yeah.
What'd you sell it for?
$3,800.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a good little turn right there. That thing was.
But you put some other money into it too,
yeah,
right?
I mean, just not much. Just
Cleaned
tires, stator, rebuilt the carb, rebuilt the forks. That's
typical stuff.
Yeah.
Get it roadworthy.
Yeah.
Your Road King is a 2019, right?
19, yes.
And it's been rebuilt how many times now?
Twice.
So, I know some people know who you are and know your story and stuff, but you had a pretty nasty accident 2 years ago now, right?
Yeah.
Almost 2 years?
Yeah, May of 21.
So, you want to talk about it?
Sure.
I mean, I think it's a good story. I mean, it has a good ending. You're sitting here, right?
Yeah, I'm here.
So
yeah, it was Memorial Day, and some friends and I were riding up in East Canyon, and just a great day, nice weather, perfect ride, and came up to a hard left turn right by the spillway of the dam up there, and a Corvette came around the corner in my lane, going the opposite direction, and it was either hit him head on or swerve and try to avoid him, and by doing that, I lost my corner and pretty much just went off a cliff.
Yeah, it was pretty gnarly. I've seen that spot, and it's a nice little drop off.
Yeah.
It's pretty gnarly. And you spent quite a long time in the hospital.
Yeah, I was in the hospital about 3 months, and then I was in a rehab facility for a couple months.
Yeah, it was sketchy. I mean, and we've all had we have friends who have been in accidents and they weren't so lucky,
Right.
you know. So you must have been doing something right.
Right.
But yeah, it's crazy. I mean, how a perfect day like that can turn.
Yeah, and you always get on that bike knowing that something can happen, but you
kind of
just
just
don't
are
think
like,
it will.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
you
never
just-
going to happen to me.
Right.
Type stuff. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, you can be as careful as you want to be, and it in the end, it doesn't matter. It's always, not always, but usually somebody else's. Mm-hmm. You know.
Have you ridden that road since?
Yeah. Yeah.
Was it weird the first time?
It was.
I know we talked
went up
about
there,
it a little bit.
Yeah, I went
but-
up there on the 1 year anniversary. I went up there by myself and rode it.
Really?
And
Was that the first time you rode it
that's
since the accident?
Yep.
Did it flash you back when you ran?
Yeah, it was.
Did, like,
Yeah,
the
it was
accident
kind
come
of
back?
the closer I got. Like, my hands started getting clammy and started getting nervous. Slowed way down, and so I went past that, went through the corner, and went up to the spillway, and turned around and went back, and then turned around and parked my bike right where I went off the road. Took some pictures, and I looked down and I could see a piece of my bag still sitting down there in the
Oh,
rocks.
really? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I mean, I know you were picking rocks out.
Yeah.
Just
Still picking
Just
rocks.
the other
this
day,
past
I
week.
still- yeah.
repacking your rocker leak, and you're like, dude, I'm still finding rocks packed in here.
Yeah.
Did it impact you riding just normal? Like, let's say your daily commute.
Yeah.
Does it mess you up with traffic or a car coming up?
Yeah.
To the side of a cross
Yeah, I'm
street.
super skittish now. Still, it's hard to get loose, and especially like in a canyon. Like right up Ogden Canyon where it's just the 2 lanes.
Especially
And
how
and
heavy
a
traffic
car
that
comes
is,
around the
yeah.
corner, I just assume he's going to hit me. It's
Right.
Do you still feel like that? Because you had a gnarly accident.
Yeah, no, I mean, I still, like, I was just the question I asked him with that, like if I see a car come up fast or go through a red light, I mean, man, I still flinch.
Mm-hmm.
It impacts me, even driving a vehicle too, and
right.
So I think you always carry those incidents with you. I mean, it gets a little bit better, but man, it can flash you quick.
Right.
And almost you just lock up.
Yeah.
You can, but
And as weird as it is to think about, I think I might be a better rider now. I think I'm more aware.
yeah,
More alert.
Like, I look
scanning
just
more.
Yeah, I scan
downrange.
more. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think okay, this guy might do this. Mm-hmm. Then usually does.
Yeah.
Yeah. I sometimes, think about like some of the younger kids who've gotten in accidents that like, if they were an older, more experienced rider, would it have made a difference? You know what I mean?
Right.
Because I just feel like sometimes these young kids, they get on, and they just twist the throttle and go. Mm-hmm. I mean, and it doesn't sound like super tough guy to be like, ride properly, like be scanning, all, as far ahead as you can see, and
Mm-hmm.
cars coming out of parking lots or intersections, but eventually that stuff's going to catch you.
Right.
It's
Especially
going
how
to catch up.
fast it can happen.
Right.
Like especially on Stitzer, he in a blind corner. That
Yeah,
thing
you
was
never
coming-
saw it.
Yeah.
Never saw it. And
Yeah. I was in the corner, focusing on the corner, and looked up and
Yeah.
saw it, and I thought, oh,
Right.
great.
Yeah.
Like you couldn't see down lane because it was around the corner.
Right.
So there was nothing more you could have done.
Right.
I mean, you think that when we were running the Tail of the Dragon, and it was we were running Saturday, and you had all the car clubs up there, and I mean, we're railing those corners, man. I mean, you've got cars coming at you on every twist.
It only takes one of those cars
Exactly,
to
come
get
over.
outside their lane a little bit,
Yeah, and you're done.
push you off into the weeds.
Right.
Yeah. Sketchy. So, when you wrecked, had you already done your motor?
I had done the motor. Yeah.
Done the motor at that point?
Yeah. So when I bought it new, and did like bars, risers, seat, floorboards, just basic stuff, just to make it more comfortable. And then I rode it basically a season, and then that next winter, tore it down and did the motor here and did all that. And so, you know, that was back on the road in January, and then since it was springtime, didn't really get a lot of riding in on it. But Phil and I rode out to Chuckwalla, and that was kind of like the first trip and kind of a shakedown just to see, you know, if I ruined my touring bike.
Yeah.
And it did really well. It ran a little hot, but, you know, we were out in the desert. And then we actually retuned it a little bit when I came back. But that was April, and then, you know, just a month later is when the wreck happened, and then I didn't ride that bike again until February of the next year.
Did you do more to the motor after the wreck, or was it all just cosmetic and suspension?
It was just cosmetic. So after the wreck, I did the full suspension, did the Baker transmission,
Oh yeah.
the swing arm, and then just a little bit more powder coat, but basically all the same parts. Just, and then the clutch.
Yeah.
Did the clutch after that, but
Did you recluse up? Is that the one you did? Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, he's still got, you know, for the record, that build is probably he's got probably one of the fastest bikes that's come out of here.
Yeah.
I think, you know,
I think so.
what I know.
Thing makes
probably
power for sure.
Tell your numbers, man. And
Yeah.
I could tell a story. When we were running trappers that one time, man, just straight pulled, man, from me. It was impressive watching that thing run. But I think, what'd you get? What's your numbers on that 131 build?
I think it was 148 horsepower and 164.
Yeah,
torque.
Yeah,
That's a lot of torque.
that's good.
Yeah.
Good little hit.
And it's a commuter still.
Yeah. I
Like
daily
when it's
it.
not snowing, you're
Right.
you're still
I'm
commuting
riding
on it.
Yeah. Like, I think I looked at my records the other day, and I think that motor build has 16,000 miles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just pretty good. I mean,
Right. Yeah.
No issues, right? It's been
Just,
been
you
reliable,
know,
just
dumb
little
stuff
things.
like the gaskets,
Yeah.
you know, the rocker box gaskets
Right.
leaking and stuff like that. But yeah, it's been real solid.
you got any ideas of like buying another bike?
No,
You're pretty
I
happy
wanna,
with where you're at?
I'm really happy with that bike. Pretty much the only thing I haven't done is calipers.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
Get the
I don't know
big
if I'll
rudder.
even do it. I need to get my dyno back together.
That ain't no joke.
Yeah.
That was the next question. That you taking up shelf space in here, man.
Right.
Got to free some up.
Calipers are like a cool upgrade. I mean, and they look cool.
Yeah, and I have the bigger rotors, and I'm happy with the braking.
With how it-
Like, it's, you know, it's not lacking.
I mean,
I
stock
don't
brakes are good. Like the new Brembos that come on the bikes are good. A good brake. Like, and for most street application, I think that they do a good job.
Right.
You know, yeah, you can throw like a set of Behringers on there or something. I mean, don't get me wrong; they have more stopping power and they look way cool.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
But I don't know that you use there's way more potential in those brakes than what you could ever get out of them on the street, you know?
Right.
You're just not full throttle and on the brakes as hard as you can,
Right.
like you would be on a track.
Right.
But they do look good.
Yeah.
So
for sure.
let me know if you want to order some. No, it's good. So tell me about your wreck. We've never talked about it.
No. Well,
You not like talking about it?
I mean, yeah. Yeah, I definitely can talk about it now, man. It's been one that. I mean, it was a good one, but yeah, we were 2010 out at that was back when I was military and stationed in Mount Home, Idaho, and we were going TDY to Vegas, and so me and a couple of the guys that rode motorcycles, the commander was allowing us to, if you were a staff sergeant above, you could take your own POV down to Vegas. So I went to the commander and said, "Hey, can we take our motorcycles down?" And at first the commander was like, "Nah, man, you guys not riding that." And I was like, "Well, hey, it's our personal vehicle. You know, we want to ride and just go on the weekends, just go blast Vegas." And so it was a Saturday, and there was three of us. We were going to go to Red Rock and just putt around there. We took the I-95 And I mean, it was a beautiful morning, man, 70 degrees. And you're on a highway. We were doing 65 miles an hour, and all of a sudden there's a car coming right at us. And
Like a 2-lane highway?
It was
or
a-
like
it was a
everything was
4-lane.
going in the same direction?
yeah, four lane highway.
Going in the
I-95.
same direction?
Yeah, same direction.
So it was a wrong way driver?
Yeah, he is an old man, 82 years old, and he came on the on-ramp and flipped a U-turn right onto oncoming traffic. And, you know, another thing, I know Stitzer can relate. I mean, when I saw it, you're seeing this car coming at you, and you're on a 4-lane. You're like, what in the world is going on? And my mind basically was like, you went to slow motion. You're like, dude, what is going on? So I don't know if you kind of,
Oh, yeah.
you were probably, I don't know
Yeah,
if you had that happen.
hear that, you know, like time stands still,
Yeah.
and you know, it was like slow motion, and I remember thinking things like, you know, while I was in the
Yeah.
air, you know,
Yeah.
I remember thinking, you know, I was in the air looking down.
Oh, so you actually
Yeah,
saw that. See, I was knocked out when what had happened, my buddy, we were riding there's 3 of us, and my buddy was in front. His name was Jason Lee, and it was me, and then Darren Brown behind me. And I immediately started watching him, seeing what his reaction was what he was gonna do. And I just saw he locked up rear brake, and then all of a sudden he just took it down and slid right into it. And when I looked up, dude, I was like, saw this vehicle right in front of me, and I just pushed right, and I missed the vehicle, but then his bike flipped off the front of the car, and I hit his bike, and then I didn't remember anything. I went flying, but I was knocked out. So that's crazy. You saw.
yeah, I never
you
lost
saw-
consciousness. Yeah,
Yeah.
I saw the car and realized I had to swerve,
Yeah.
you know, and then I was
Because
in
you
the-
didn't hit the car, right?
No,
You
I
just went off the
swerved.
cliff.
Yeah. So I
Okay.
swerved and then tried to get back, and I was in the shoulder sliding and thinking I was going to make it back. I was going to make it back onto the road. And there's a light pole or like a reflector pole. And I saw that, and I thought, if I make it to that pole, I'll probably be okay. And then it was gone. It went past me, and then I was in the air.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I just realized I wasn't on my bike anymore, and looked down and saw the rocks I was going to land in. And then I remember
crazy, man.
thinking, well, I guess I'm going to die today. Like,
Yeah.
okay. Like, nothing I can do about it, you know?
Man, it's
Yeah.
crazy. Yeah, I mean, I woke up. See, I woke up and I was walking to the median, and I turned around. See, I thought I popped right up, but Darren told me later that I was on the ground, and he checked my pulse. I had a pulse, and then he went over to Jason. And so when I turned around, I was just like, I looked at all the destruction. I was like, man, what? And I looked at I was like, well, I ain't riding that home, because it was. I mean, it was.
You were
it was
thinking
total.
that at the time?
Yeah, I was like, ooh. I was like, what in the world just happened? And I saw that old man. He was trying to start his vehicle, and Darren came up and grabbed his keys and threw the keys out. And then he was going to go, it looked like he was going to deck the dude. And then a state trooper had come up and grabbed him and kind of corralled him over. Because my buddy in front, he died instant. So, and I had heard it was weird because we went to we were in separate ambulances, but you go into and I guess we were at a trauma center right there in Vegas. It was right there. It's kind of one of those weird things. But I could hear, dude, we were like next to each other, and they were opening him up, and you could hear, I could hear everything. It was just kind of crazy. And, but yeah, he had died instant. His aorta separated on that impact. And then, I had a lot of, broken bones, TBI, I had traumatic brain injury. I had that day, I was wearing full gear. So that helmet saved my life. And, sometimes, man, we'd ride without, man, which now I don't. I straight full up. After that accident, gear up, man. But yeah, man, it was one. It took me over probably about a year to 2 years to recover with surgeries and, just trying to get back. Just like you, you were laid up for what?
For months,
6
Yeah.
months, and you
Yeah.
still got to get some surgeries too, I think.
Yeah, I
right,
still
to
have
get
to, I
fixed
still have
up,
to have my
so
knee replaced.
it's kind of like me. I had a right knee reconstruction, clavicle, torn rotator cuff. My left hip, I'm still jacked up. I still got pain, and and then you still deal with the just kind of all the mental aspect. 'Cause, I mean, it was one of them. You're like, do you decide to do you keep riding? Do you fly or fight? You know, and I mean, I struggled with that for a little bit, but I was like, I'm not going to let a guy, an old man that shouldn't have been driving. He should not have been driving. Take away what I love. But that's one of it. Probably a lot of people can relate to that. You know, that there's some guys that, and we've had in the shop that have come in and they'll have an accident. I mean, I think we had one last summer, right? He just like, dude, can you guys sell this bike? I can't remember that guy's name. That, you know,
I remember.
He had an accident. He's like, dude, I'm done. And he was done.
Like
Dude,
I don't think I ever questioned whether I'd ride again.
Really?
It was just like, when can I? You know?
Yeah,
And
and
I was, you know, when I kind of stopped rolling and, you know, kind of, you know, I was at the bottom of that hill and kind of trying to get up. I reached up to grab a branch to pull myself up, and my arm just kind of wrapped around it. And I remember thinking, well, crap, I'm not going to be able to ride the rest of the year with the cast. You know? Yeah. And then, you know, as time went on, like a few minutes later, then it kind of, you know,
Everything
started sinking in more. You know, I couldn't stand. My arm was just flopping around. You know, my head hurt.
gnarly.
I felt real like hot. You know, like my head was huge.
Yeah.
More than usual. And and you know, and then I guess, you know, shock set in, and I wanted to like take a nap.
Yeah.
I was like, I told my friends, you know, hey, I'm just gonna take a little nap while we're waiting for the ambulance, you know.
Probably can't do that, man. 'Cause
Yeah.
you get out concussion.
Right.
Wasn't it Phil that was like trying to yell at you or keep you awake or whatever?
Yeah. So it was Phil and Caesar and Sarah, and Sarah was trying to talk to me.
Okay.
You know, talk to
she's
me.
a nurse.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah.
You good there.
Yeah, and she, you know, I remember asking me, you know, like, what's your name? And I was like I know my name.
Rick?
And she's like, say it. And I couldn't say my name.
Really?
Yeah. But I
You
I
knew it?
Oh yeah, I knew
you
it.
just-
And I just couldn't say my name. I remember that thinking, well, that's dumb, you know. But, you know, she's like, who's this? And, you know, just kept talking to me, trying to keep me alert.
Yeah. You know, this one time I was working at the dealership, and we had this old guy that he was probably, I don't know, 70s, like never ridden before, and bought him a Sportster, and he brought it in for service or something. And he came down one day, and he had armoralled his tires. And we were like, hey, man, like, you can't, like, he was like just super proud, like retired, never ridden before, just like trying to live his best life in retirement, you know. We tried to warn him, but he wasn't really, you know, having it. So he takes off out of the parking lot at the Harley dealership, and we're kind of like watching him. And sure enough, he pulls out of the parking lot and like leans to turn left out onto the street. And that thing just slides right out from underneath him. I mean, super slow, because he had kind of gone through the curb and then just turned left, and it just slid. But he didn't let go, like, and it came down. The handlebar, when it hit the ground, it crushed his hand, like, and then the grip and the lever just mangled his hand. And he stood up, and like we all went running, and he comes running to us, and like he walked up, and like all four of his fingers were going different directions. And we never saw the dude again. Never saw him again. He called and just said, sell my bike.
So
I'm
he just
done.
left the bike there?
Yeah. He was done. Like, just, he's like, yep, not doing that ever again.
Yeah. But of course, lots of people were asking me, you know,
Will you ride again?
I'm like, well, yeah. I mean, you know.
Got to
was
get
never
back
a
on the
question.
saddle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I was here, you know, once I was released, and, you know, before I went back to work, when I was able to get up, drive myself and all that, I came down, started working on it. And I just remember one day thinking, I don't know if I could ride this bike.
You had those
I don't know
feelings?
if I can ride this bike.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, I need to ride a different bike first, like to just get back on it. And I think I was going to take your Road King up the canyon or something, and had a bad lifter or something, and then
Still does.
yeah,
Just clapping like, or what,
Yeah,
what do you
and
say,
then-
knocking like a Jehovah's Witness?
and I ended up taking Caesar's bike, like on a Sunday night, and I rode it to work that next day, and rode it on the freeway and everything, and thought, okay, this is cool. But when I left his house, as soon as I pulled away, I had like a, I don't know what you'd call it, like a little
panic attack or something?
Yeah, like a panic attack.
Yeah.
And then by the time I got to that first stop sign, it had just kind of gone away. And
Wasn't that why you bought that Daytona?
Yeah.
Besides
So I
just
bought,
to kind of have a different.
yeah, so I bought the Daytona just to have a bike to ride until my Road King was done.
Yeah.
You know, we're waiting on parts, waiting on powder coat. Like, it took kind of a long time. Plus, it was pretty, you know, waiting on paint.
Yeah.
And
That's a sore subject.
yeah,
Huh?
waiting on paint. And yeah, it took kind of a long time to get it back together. But yeah. And then when I rode, the first time I rode it, I left here, it was kind of later at night and it started to snow. And it was way too high. Like I had to lower it back down a little bit, but
Oh yeah, you did a +2 on that thing, didn't you? Did you do 14s in the back? And, yeah.
and then it has the D-rake trees, so that pushed the front end up a little bit too.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I could only tiptoe like on one foot.
Got that,
James only 5 foot.
that +2 suspension
I'm
and
still
that
tiptoeing.
-2 in his legs.
Yeah, Phil loves giving me shit about tippy toeing, but
You just need to get you some of those Asian shoes, man, with those big blocks on the bottom. You know, lift you up a little
platform
bit.
bands. Yeah,
All this talking about wrecking is heavy.
yeah.
I know you.
little
It's supposed to be
too
about Stitzer, man. Why are you bringing me into this?
I know. Let's talk about something besides wrecking motorcycles. Let's talk about what we're going to do this year.
Grip it and rip it. Just all cross country. Thanks, BRL. East Coast side.
Yeah,
baby.
we are going to BRL. What about you? What's your plans?
Well, my schedule's opened wide open recently.
Oh, we got a driver. Yes.
So yeah, I'm gonna
come.
just try to ride as much as I possibly can. I'm already kind of thinking maybe just a couple solo weekend trips, or
You got any big rides
Just a-
planned?
we're going to
chance, or-
Born Free. Like 4 or 5 of us are going to Born Free. I'm not sure about Sturgis. I might just rip up for a weekend, just leave on a Friday morning or
Yeah.
something, and
Let's
Camp.
come back Monday.
Just camp.
I don't
up
want to
there?
camp. I want to mooch off
Find
somebody
someone.
that gets a house. Yeah, so that's the way to go.
I know.
After staying in a house up there, camping kind of sucks. But
That one setup we
Want
had
to
at the
mooch off
camp.
someone with a house too.
Yeah, Tony's always providing the house for
That last
for the
house we
rally.
stayed
that was a
in.
good one.
The first one kind of sucked. The
yeah,
one
that
was
was,
the
that
one
was
in.
kind of fun though, like Elk Canyon or whatever that was.
I mean, it was nice. It was a nice little house, but we had too many people in there.
What was there, 17 people? or
Something like that. Yeah. In like a 4-bedroom house.
Yeah.
I mean, there was,
But it was-
people everywhere.
Yeah. It was still better than camping, I thought.
But that house up on the hill,
Yeah, in the campground, that was money.
That was a good setup.
yeah.
The restaurant and
the
stuff.
restaurant.
Oh yeah, a little restaurant down the hill, shuttle into downtown. Like that was the spot. That place I think gets booked up. Like
Yeah, you kind of
got
lucky
lucky
on, it,
on
right?
that
you
one,
had a
like,
cancellation or
there was
something.
like a last minute cancellation. We snagged it, and then we looked at it last year. Even though we didn't go, we were just kind of looking at it. But it was booked way early. But yeah, that was a sweet spot because you could, up on the hill, like get away from everything. Have a trail mix night. Just drinking beers, sorting trail mix for hours on end.
What were some of those names? You guys, I mean, you guys had the.
Well,
For the, the
you guys are
tra-
nicknaming all the trail mix, man.
well,
Like,
the trail mix had like oversized raisins in it.
yeah, they were like, what was Girth Brooks?
Girth Brooks.
We're naming the raisins, yeah.
Girth defects.
Sammy Davis Pruner.
Girth, wind, and fire. Oh yeah, good times. Yeah. Are you gonna do Four Corners?
Yeah, I plan on that too.
I
That's
think-
I like that. That's a good.
It's a
that's
fun-
a good ride. It's
Good riding, good ride to it, and then good riding there. And
Yeah,
And plus, you get to hit the $1 Million Highway. You did that, Tori, because I asked her how she got that shirt. She's like, "Well, that was Tony felt guilty because he didn't take me on the ride, and you ran that."
See, it
that's
works-
one of the best highways, man.
Yeah.
It's a good one.
it's usually better to leave them back home and then just get them a shirt while you're out.
Well, I mean, she would have been chirping on that seat you got.
I know.
Because you got the single seat, the single man seat on that Saddleman.
Chirping.
She chirps
Just
no
like-
matter what. She chirps no
Just
matter
like in
what.
Sturgis, man. We were having to stop every 20 miles because of that seat, man.
I'm not even going to repeat what she was saying about that seat.
Oh, I could only imagine. I heard a few of the color commentaries along the way.
Yeah. No. Are you going to try and do any BRLs with us?
Yeah. Yeah, I am for sure now. Now that
He's going to be
I mean, I
driver,
guess, when do you go back to work? Or is that up in the air?
that's up in the air. September
All right.
is the,
So the first 2 rounds of BRL, like, you won't be working.
you're right.
Whether you're, like, I mean, you got to have a knee surgery between now and
Right.
then, though, too. So that might,
So, I mean, that'll be closer to September than,
yeah.
that'll be more, I'm hoping maybe by August, end of July or so.
That'd be cool if you came to some of the races with us. I mean, we're trying to figure out our plan. I mean, we're going.
Mm-hmm.
We just don't know how we're getting there and when we're leaving yet. But
rolling a skeleton crew. So, I mean, if you roll with us, man, help out, especially with driving, helping out.
yeah,
We want
So
to have full
what about
crew.
Sturgis? Are you doing Sturgis?
if I do, it would just be like me or something.
Not
Like I'm
the
not
whole-
taking the crew because we're gonna do 4 corners and probably take everybody to 4 corners this year. So if I did, it would just be like you said, like a
Just a quick,
run up on the
Up and back,
weekend,
yeah.
hang out for a couple days, and come back.
yeah.
Because I'll have BRL in July in, where's that at? Illinois in July. And then if I try and do that and like a week of Sturgis and then, a long weekend of 4 corners, it'd just be kind of
Too
hard
much.
for me.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll probably skip Sturgis or make a quick run up or something. Maybe I'll have a bike that runs by then. It'd be nice.
Yeah, get that RG rolling. So I see you're pretty tattooed up,
Yeah.
and you
I've
got
a couple.
Oh,
some interesting tattoos.
I don't know.
Especially the Stitzer's got just off the wall, funny ones. Let's hear. Pick one of your favorite off the wall tattoos and why you got it.
One of my favorites is a shark, hammerhead shark around my ankle that's shitting in the water and it says Shark Week. And he's got a goofy look on his face. It's funny. It's pretty funny.
What about the dick butt?
Then I have the dick butt with like I don't know what you call it, like half of it's like a cutaway, like you can see the bones and organs and stuff.
I didn't know dick butts had organs.
Yeah. Then I've got a Virgin Mary Willie Nelson. And yeah.
So
Some
you guys
good
see,
ones.
and then the $1 million question: do you have any of the back tattoos?
Back? Mm-hmm. I don't.
No.
I thought you had a tramp
You
stamp.
and Phil have
Oh,
matching
I
tramp
do.
stamps. That's a lie.
I do. I have a champ stamp. Yeah.
Champ
Phil
stamp.
and I went and
Jordan got him.
Phil and I went and got tattooed together, and it was pretty
Were
funny.
you guys holding hands on that one?
No. But it was Caesar was supposed to go, and he kind of backed out. But yeah, so it was just the winged wheel, and the FTW, and we just got different variations of that.
Did you do Phil and Stitzer?
Mm-hmm.
Just did you put Phil's underneath yours and you put Stitzer? I got another one.
Okay.
So we
Hit
talked
me.
about some, you riding out, cross countries and all that.
Mm-hmm.
What are some of your favorite local rides here in Utah? Not really the go-to every day, but that one that maybe will take a little bit of time, but one that stands out here in Utah.
Well, just pretty local is just going up either Ogden Canyon, up over Trappers Loop, and then down Weber Canyon, or the other way around.
That's
like
probably your
I try to
favorite.
do that 3 or 4 times a week, just on my way home from work.
Yeah.
And
How many miles is that? I mean,
It's not-
I've done
it's-
it so many times, but I don't think I've
it's a
ever
quick, yeah, it's a quick
Yeah.
run, and
I mean, the cool thing, I can do that and go home. Like
Right.
I could make that the long way home.
Yeah.
That's
And
what I do.
that's-
I'll take it up Ogden, just do trappers, then back down the divide. Puts me right in my backyard, which is
Right.
kind of cool. I want to say it's under 50 miles. For me, if I take the long way.
Yeah. Yeah, and I like going up, either going up through Logan to Bear Lake and then back down
Yeah,
over
that's a
Monte
good one.
Cristo, or
Yeah.
The other way, go up through Monte and then back
Yeah.
down. It's just good rides. East Canyon, really like that ride still.
Yeah.
Have you ever ridden Southern Utah?
No, I want to.
I did. It's been quite a few years, but it's pretty good.
Yeah, it's kind of
Yeah.
you need to go at a certain time. It's kind of hard to find that window. It's either too cold or too hot.
Too cold or
Yeah.
too hot, and then you start fighting tourists too.
Right.
You know what I mean? Especially if you get down in like Zion and stuff, it gets so crowded, and you're
Yeah.
just sitting in traffic jams.
Yeah, but I do want to do that.
I think Arches is the same way.
Yeah.
I don't think Arches is that great of riding.
No, it's kind of slow, man. Because like you say, you're
There's
in
so
that
much
park,
traffic
and
and-
the traffic.
yeah. It's weird because like Arches, you just ride out. The riding isn't that good. It's cool like you go out to like this arch or that arch, and it's cool when you get there.
Yeah.
But like the ride to it is like just
Yeah.
Yeah.
regular desert, whatever.
I think one of the best ones, man, going down to Monument Valley. If you could ever get down there, that one, especially the sunsets down there, is just unreal. Just all the colors off the rock. And me and my old man, we hit that one year because it was kind of close to Four Corners. So we just kind of, I think we had stayed in Durango. I think that's where we staged out of, but made it down to that Monument Valley, man. And there was also like a monsoon to come through, so it was kind of nice and cool. And then at sun, man, it was, you can get down there. That's definitely a good one to hit, that area. Oh, hey.
Oh yeah, Pasta
I mean,
J's in Moab.
oh, yeah.
Dude, that's
No
worth a
doubt.
ride. That's worth a 6-hour ride. It's the best Italian in the state.
Italian. I've never
good.
been there.
It's so good, so good. Yeah. No, you got to hit Southern Utah.
Yeah, I've
Southern.
wanted to.
I mean, it's cool because like I think like where we live right here, like 5 hours south, and you're like
Yeah.
in Red Rock, Moab, Zion, Canyonlands,
Right.
you know what I mean, Monument Valley. But if you go 4 or 5 hours north, you're in Jackson Hole, West
Right.
Yellowstone.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the ride to Boise.
Yeah.
I like that. That's a cool. It's only 3 hours, 4 hours.
Yeah.
something.
So I mean, it's cool where we live. Like you can get like 2 totally different like
Landscapes.
landscape, within an easy ride. So yeah, I did Jackson Hole a few years ago, and I mean, totally different than Southern Utah. But
You gonna tell a story on that one, by chance?
no stories
No?
on that one. No,
Oh,
I'll
okay.
keep that one in the bank.
All right. Just wondering. That was a classic. Just hit me up if we're out and about. And
I'll keep that one in the bank.
I'll tell that one to you guys.
No,
What's your the occupation? What do you do for a living?
I'm a welder.
I think he's
Welder.
the new host.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm a welder fabricator. I've been doing it like over 30 years probably.
Now, would that be how
done-
you guys met in a way? I mean, I know he's got the shop. He kind of got the motorcycles.
I
but,
remember Tony from the old Golden Spike
oh, and wait.
in Riverdale. Yeah.
And I also forgot, didn't you guys work together?
We worked
Yeah,
at, yeah.
that's
So when I
right.
left the
That's right.
dealership and I got a job before I opened here, I worked at Barnes and he
right.
was working there as well.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
we kind of started talking about bikes a little bit here and there. I think we were working different shifts maybe, but there was some overlap.
There was
and then,
overlap
and
and-
then
yeah.
at some point, maybe you moved to days or something. But yeah, that's where we kind of started to get to know each other.
So dealership first, and then
Yeah. And then Barnes and then just coming in here.
were
Came
you
here.
selling
And,
parts for him, or were you doing tech? Were you wrenching?
No, I don't think I ever worked on his bike over there. I think it was just probably just me being there.
like going in for parts and stuff.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny, the dealership, like you just see everybody. Because, I mean, everybody that has a Harley eventually walks in
Right.
the dealership
Yeah.
for something, you know,
Right.
even if it's a, you know, I think he was buying like some chaps or something.
Yeah. some assless sweats.
But yeah, at the dealership, you just see everybody.
Yeah.
No matter what they ride, like what they're into, you just see everybody there. Where here, like we're a little more niche. Like we kind of see the dudes that want to build motors or do performance work, and so.
Yeah.
But yeah, at the dealership, everybody walks in there eventually. So, but yeah, that's how we
and
met. And then yeah, I mean,
And I brought my bike in, and then I can't remember what it was. I welded. Just would help you, started welding stuff.
You kind of started helping him with the TIG, right?
Yeah.
Kind of, or
Yeah.
No, I mean, yeah, I think he's helped me a lot, like, because I just have self-taught myself how to
Yeah.
weld, like,
Right.
and he's come in and actually helped weld a lot of stuff for us, and then also kind of show me
Yeah.
the do's and don'ts, and
right.
Yeah, and I think the the Sportster was probably the first thing that we really welded a lot of stuff on. The
Sportster oil tank.
Oh yeah.
the oil tanks. Yeah.
The oil tanks are probably one of the first projects we kind of
Yeah.
Yep.
messed around with, and then the other Sportster that I'm still building.
Yeah.
we
And,
did
and then the race bike.
The race bike, yeah.
and
you
then
got
the
that
race bike was a lot.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
race bike tank.
The tank
Yep.
twice.
twice.
2 times.
You can go ahead and tell that story there, Stitz. What happened with that?
So
And we're gonna post video
Yeah,
on
so
this
we
one.
cut pockets into the tank, and we just kind of learned as we went and got that all fit up, and I worked on it, just in the evenings, put a lot of time into it. And then one day when I wasn't here, I think we kind of decided it was finished. Mm-hmm. And Tony pressurized it, put the cap on and stuff, and pressurized it with air to leak test it, and found a pinhole. And I just came walking in one day after work, and he'd said, Tony was getting ready to take it to paint, said, I just found one pinhole that I still need to fix. And I said, I'll hurry and fix it. And so you left to go pick up a bike or something, and I unhooked the airline and didn't even think to depressurize it or pop the cap or, relieve the pressure or anything, and struck an arc. And it kind of acted weird, like I didn't have a ground. And then I just kind of scooted it around, make sure I had a contact, and then hit it again, and it exploded in my face.
That thing shot up, man, in the air. Oh,
All that time and work,
I
putting
think you
those
pooped
pockets
a little
into
bit.
it. Put those pockets into it, and it blew them right back out.
And that's how you make a fat bob tick.
And then, and I just, I thought, oh no, because I know it was going to paint. We were on a pretty tight deadline, and I thought, there's no way of fixing it.
that channel
Oh,
was
that
blown
thing
out.
was
It blew
blown
the tunnel out, everything. It was just hammered. And I brought it up and put it on the counter, and Tony walked in, and I was just like, so,
There I was.
man, yeah. And then I think, like, overnighted a tank, found on eBay.
Found
or
another
something,
eBay
and,
tank, yeah.
And then hurried and just busted it out in a couple days.
Yeah, then we built that one in like 2 days.
Yeah.
The other one took us like a month.
Yeah.
It's always easier when you do it the second
Yeah,
time.
the second
though.
time's way easier.
Yeah. No, but I mean, you've helped me a lot with welding. Like I still tell people, like, I'm not a welder. I'm just a guy with a welder.
No, you've come a long
But
way.
You're doing good.
Yeah, because we started that titanium subframe
yeah,
for the race bike, and that was on my list of things to do, was kind of button that up, and then I,
and then you
went off road
and ran off a cliff.
Yeah, and so the parts on that you finished up looked really good.
Yeah.
Like it turned out nice.
No, it's been good. I mean, I've learned a lot from you. It's helped me out a lot. I mean, just the little things. It's funny with welding, like the littlest things make the biggest difference.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, and I've done it so long that I found all these little, took me a long time to find these little tricks and shortcuts and stuff. And welders are funny. A lot of them don't like to share any of that.
Yeah, that's the same in
And
the
I-
bike world sometimes too.
And I, I just kind of look at it as like, man, if you could cut out all that and help somebody,
Yeah.
progress faster by what I've learned, I like to do that.
Yeah.
They're like, yeah, I hardly weld anything anymore. You guys do it all.
Well, it's like today, like Nate brings up this inner primary,
Yep.
and something got down in between the primary and the frame, and it like wore a hole in the primary case. And he was like getting ready to put it back together. And so I went back and just kind of ground away all the crap, got down to like some good clean aluminum, and then just welded it back up and painted it. And it was like,
You couldn't even tell. I mean,
like 2 years ago, I wouldn't have been able to do that. Like I mean, it took me maybe 20 minutes, and like you said, I mean, I ground it smooth on the outside, hit it with some wrinkle black, and never even know it was there.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't have been able to do that 2 years, especially with cast aluminum.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's been saturated in oil
yeah,
its whole life.
Yeah.
Because I remember, well, speaking of cast, I remember the first time meeting Stitz on that sporty. Remember that transmission? Was it the bearing on that thing? And
That wasn't Stitz.
But I thought, did he have to come in and did he help out with that thing?
No, that wasn't Stitz. That was actually Stitz's boss over at Barnes.
Oh, okay.
That my brother knew.
I
Kyle.
thought you'd roll in.
Remember, I can't remember Kyle's last name.
Yeah.
But he came over
Okay.
and welded some aluminum for us that, there's a bearing board that was blown out. He came over and welded it and like,
Saw how hard it was. And,
Yeah.
because aluminum, you got to have it clean.
Yeah.
To get a good.
and
good
cast
hit on it.
aluminum is not
is
clean by
inherently
nature.
dirty. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Porous.
dirty. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, soaked in oil. But yeah, I mean, it was nice. Like today, like
Yeah, he knocked it out.
knocked that out in like 20 minutes. And
In the dealership, that customer would have had to pay probably $300-400 for a new inner primary because they weren't going to fix it. They weren't going
Yeah.
to do that. Well, that's the stuff we can do here. Is do those in-house fixes and help the customer out too. So
Yeah.
that was cool. to
but I
see
mean,
that.
that's all thanks to
Yeah.
you.
And the
Honestly.
flip side of that is I've learned, how to work on, the bikes. Learned all that from you with your help. I've pretty much did the
I mean, you did a
motor.
lot of your bike.
Yeah, like
on your
just,
own.
I asked a lot of questions.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Well, it's been good. I mean, for me, it's been good. I mean, I feel like the relationship has been good for both of us. Like, I feel
Right.
like, I've learned a ton, and I hope you feel the same.
oh
like,
yeah,
it's
for
been,
sure. Like I think I'm getting the better end of it, and you think you're getting the better end of it. So
sounds
works
like
out.
it's working out then.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it's good. I mean, I appreciate everything, all the help that you, not just in teaching me, but just even the stuff you'll come in and just weld up or do whatever and stuff. Like, it's huge for me.
This might be off the wall question for both of you because I think you guys had, I remember a few years back had dabbled in the idea of building an exhaust setup for kind of a Tucker Speed brand. Are you guys ever thinking about rehashing that and maybe trying something like that? Or
Talked
Trying to
about
think
it
of how
a bunch
that-
times. It's like
How that all happened. Wasn't that pre-COVID?
yeah, it was. It's been
And
a
then
few years.
COVID happened, and we were like,
yeah, it's
maybe we
a
should
lot.
just park things for a minute. And then
Yeah.
like it just kind of never.
You didn't know how busy you were going to be. And
Yeah,
then,
I think. Looking back, it's kind of funny, but I think that like when COVID first was a thing, and like the whole country's getting shut down, right? We were like, yeah, maybe we shouldn't be investing any money into trying to build an exhaust system.
Gotcha.
But yeah, we did talk about it, and maybe it's something. Maybe
Because
it'll
we got-
start right here tonight. Maybe we'll start it back up. I don't know. I mean, I know you got
See-
a lot of spare time right now.
yeah,
Exactly.
yeah, and
And we got a
and then-
dyno to do some R&D,
Right.
with setups.
Right.
That's
Yeah, and then in the
Yeah.
meantime, Phil and Steve and I are kind of planning on getting things going. Building
I forgot
Doing
about
some
that.
stuff.
pipes and
Yeah.
You could actually probably
machining parts, welding, making a lot of different stuff.
that'd be a good segue.
And that's
Where
that's
do you-
kind of my plan. Instead of going back to
Long
work.
term.
Yeah.
So yeah, go ahead and touch on that. With I know we were talking exhaust, but you got kind of another venture going with two other guys that guys we hang out with as well. I mean, we've seen them a few times, but what you guys looking at doing?
Exhaust. Kind of pretty much everything. You know, we've got a CNC tubing bender, got a CNC mill, manual mill, lathe, plasma table. We'll have a powder coat booth and paint booth, you know, kind of whatever. Handlebars, crash bars, just kind of anything.
What do you got, like the CNC program to design all that stuff? Is that what you guys are
Yeah.
got in-house?
And that you know, the programming and that's kind of more Steve and Phil, and I would just I just
Or
weld
the
stuff, you know.
Fabricator.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of the welder guy.
Well, that's old Icky Steve.
Icky Steve.
Not an
Not
Icky
to be
Steve.
confused with
Not an Icky Steve.
regular
Steve.
How do you get that nickname?
Icky Steve. That's another Sturgis story.
Yeah. It's funny, just the other night he knew we all kind of called him that, but he didn't know everybody called him that. He knows now, yeah.
How good was it the other night at the bar with the stupid door?
Oh man, that's my favorite part of going there.
Stupid
door.
You missed it.
So
Yeah.
on the west side of Brewski's there's a door that goes out actually onto 25th Street, and it's locked on that side. And so we try to sit where we can see people try to go out that door, and then when they hit the door,
they're
we
just-
just
they're
call them nerds and stuff. Just you know, it's so dumb, but it's pretty funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the old the Caesar meme on all the pictures that Phil started populating. That was, I think Jordan was showing me that one. I was cracking up, man.
Tony knows the door thing is a joke, and he still tried to come in that door.
Hey, I didn't know then. No, the best on the door is they hit the door, and then you're like, yeah, you just
try it again.
Jiggle the knob, and they turn around and there's no knob, and they're like, they look around like,
But it's funny when they you know, just like try to throw it open, plant their face on the glass, and then you go nerd, and they're so embarrassed that they don't get mad. You know, they don't know what to do.
they're
They
like
just want to
pissed
get
off,
out.
and they're like trying to like not
Yeah.
laugh though.
Yeah, it's fun. Yeah.
Good times. Good old Ogden 25th Street. Cool. We're about an hour in. It's a good podcast.
Yeah.
You guys have anything you want to add? Did we talk about the listener question of the week? Jordan keeps, Jordan's over here laughing at me. He hates the listener question of the week idea. I love it.
I don't hate it.
I want to do it.
I don't hate
I
it.
think you should go with the OG.
We're going to set up an email.
Are you going to read this week's listener question?
How about we just make it my email? I don't use it anyways. We'll just make it. I don't even know what my email is. Is it just Tony at Tucker Speed?
sales@tuckerspeed.com?
It's like Lincoln
No,
Park
that's
fan.
yours.
Lincoln Park fan.
Dude, Nate.
420 or something.
I think it's Nate. Nate's the only Lincoln Park fan.
We have several email addresses. Send your listener question on the contact form on the website.
On the website? No, let's not do that.
Anywhere.
Anywhere? Maybe we'll get a question. for next time.
king.of.utah @gmail.com.
I don't think that's real. No.
I bet there's some good questions though.
No, I think it'd be cool. I mean, I think it'd be a cool way to keep people engaged, answer some questions. Maybe people have some questions about us.
Are we ever gonna do like a live setup, like do a live chat, and you can actually kick people out and all that? And
I think,
we
unfortunately, yeah.
get Sergio in here to run that because he's the
Yep.
the old online bully.
Cyber bully Sergio.
These will hopefully all be live eventually.
That's the plan, is to go live with these and then launch them on the podcast platform. So it'll be good. We're excited to see where this podcast thing goes. Maybe it'll take off. We're going to commit to how many episodes? 50 or 100?
All of them.
All of them.
150 episodes. Hopefully we'll get better at it. I think J.O. is the new host.
Just gotta get my voice down.
And should be fun. But yeah, thanks for joining us. We'll see you in episode 3.